select this one and Ctrl D to duplicate it. So bring it to this level here. So make sure you have something like this and just drag it down to cover it up to this part. So if you're not good in guessing if this is all right, so you can definitely, measure the size and do all that. So we want to take this space for a map, a country for countries for our customers. So we want to go back here. So I just want to put this in different here, something like this. Do this again, and we do this. Okay, nicely done. So we come here now and copy this away from here. So if I drop this down here now, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna take up this one, and this time around I come down to my customer country. Here we go. We have customer country here. So that gives us this. So we have Canada, we have Mexico, and we have USA. So I don't want to actually do this by percentage of grand total whatsoever. So all I have to do now is so just right click and go down to where we have show percentages and take no calculation. So I always love to make reference to this, but before I do that, let me show you what's going to happen and why I'm going to do this for you. So if I select this now and I decide to actually create my map from here, let's see what happened. But before you do that, make sure you have an active internet connection. So you can see I'm actually hotspotting from my Technos 17 Pro to my PC. So I'm going to come to insert here. Then I select this particular map. If I select this, look at what we have. So it says you can't create this chart type with the data inside pivot table. Please select different chart type or copy the data outside the pivot table. That is exactly what we're going to do. So we have to copy the data outside pivot table. So your equal sign, reference this and click on OK. Then you select and copy it down. So you have this. Let us do the same thing we couldn't do. I want to come right here, select this. So now we have our chart already. So I'm going to format this one separately, Ctrl-1. I want to use this kind of formatting. That is okay. So for this one here, we don't actually need it. I'm going to get it off. So which is this one that is showing high and low. We don't need it. So we can come here and just the legend. We don't need the legend as well. So we've taken it off. So quickly to get things much more organized, so we can actually Ctrl X to cut it off. So we are right back to the dashboard environment here. We can paste what we've just copied. So now we fill it up in here. The next thing is for we to double click and take this off. Take this off as well. So this is how small it's going to look like. First of all, I'm going to send it to back because of this one that covers this place up. So send it to back. So this is not going to distort this one here. So click on this one and bring to what? I'm going to bring to front. Oh, sorry. We're going to send this to back as well. Send this to back. That will reveal what we have inside here, which is this one here. So quickly, we have to click on this. And now it reverses this series for us. So in this series, we just have to change the highest. So for the highest value, I want to use this color for my highest value. And for the lowest value, I might decide to use a different color right here. What if I go ahead and use something like this? That will give me my lowest value here. So this is the very lowest value. So followed by this one, it's a little bit darker. So you actually trace the darkness, the dark part to be your highest and all of that. So you can decide to use a different color for this. It's all left to you, but make sure you actually keep consistency when creating this in terms of color for you to actually create an actual kind of, dashboard that look much more cool. All right, we have something like this. I'm gonna just Ctrl D to copy this and remove the transparency, remove this, and come here now, down, cover here up. So I don't want to see the text here. Just want to cover the text up. So I don't want to see that text. It makes my chart to be ugly. All right, we have this. So all I have to do now is to identify where we have values right in, specifically identifying the, US. As you can see, we have US here. So here we have Canada, and right here we have Mexico. And if I go here, we still have USA to actually, appear right here. So don't worry, it's the same value. You don't have to bother about it. So all I have to do right now is go to the top ribbon, insert, I go to illustration, I click on shape, and now we can pick up any of these. I'm going to go with this one here. So right here now, so I'm going to actually point at this here. So make sure I have it pointing down. So you can just keep adjusting it until you have something you want. So release it. So come here now and just, play around with this one here to adjust it. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. So once I've done that now, the next thing I do is to Control 1 to bring this up. I just have to make sure I use 1 point, just use 1 point. So from there, I'm going to click on this one and use something like this. So with that now, I can just click on this one here to change the color. So I want to go ahead with this particular kind of color. So that is the deck. So something like this would be very cool for me. So now I can Ctrl D to duplicate it. And this one will identify something right here. So pointing at this. So Ctrl D to duplicate it again. And right now we're going to have to make sure we use this to point at this here. Okay, pointing at this here. And just keep on doing this until you have what you want. Okay, I can decide to leave it this way. So we have it pointed at this. So after doing this now, what is left for us to do? I can go here and just copy this one here. Inside here, I'm going to name this one Canada. So resize it. So Ctrl D to duplicate it. Then here's going to be USA. So Ctrl D to duplicate it again. So here's going to be my Mexico. So my Mexico is spelled as MEX. Okay, that is my Mexico right there. So my US is going to come to this part. So I'm going to have it here. So as you can see, I just have to change the position of this one to somewhere around here. And I have to just change how it's pointing. So it's going to point at this. And I'm going to change this, how this one is pointing as well. So it's going to point down. So once I have it point down, if I want to shift it now to change the way it looks. So I want to quickly go to the top level right here and just move it a bit. Something like this would be cool for me. So now we can just do this. So bring this down to point at this one here. And I can now move this to the top, just like this. Nice, done. So here we go. We take this one right here. And once we've done that now, we can just try to make sure this one is pointing to this. And we do this. So just here we go. We have what we want. So quickly, you know the drill. So just go ahead and do this. And play around until you have what you want. So we can move this closer to it. So once you are done with that, you can just control and hold everything down and just move this down a little bit. So nicely. Okay, so we have to get the value that is peculiar to every one of the countries. So I'm going to come here now and pick up value for Canada. I'm going to pick up value for the United States. So I'm going to pick up value for Mexico as well. That is okay. So after this now, for the values we actually got, so let us crank them up a little bit. And we can select this color for our value. So after this now, we go back to the top ribbon, insert illustration, this, and we go with this. So I'm going to have this right here. Just take your time to actually have it formatted the way you like. So for the outline, we don't want anything for it. For the color here, I want to go ahead and use something like this. So we duplicate it. We move this one down for this one here. So when I select the color, this, so duplicate this one and bring it up to this level here. So I want to select the color that is actually closer to this color here. That is nice, rightly done. So I can definitely move this one here for now, for the time being. So go back here. So we want to create a percentage for this one here. How can we do that? It's very simple. So I can just go ahead and say this, whoa, sorry. So we have to navigate back here again. So put our equal sign here. We want to divide this one by the sum of this F4 key, because I'm going to copy down, close, and enter key. So we copy down. If I double click, so we are still here. If I highlight, I do Ctrl+1. That actually helps us to create our percentage. So here we go. We have something like this. So US takes the lead with 60%, higher than Mexico and Canada. So you can just name this one percentage. That is all. So you come back here now. So we want to take for Mexico. We can select this now and come here for Mexico. We have this. So we can just go ahead and bump it a bit. Okay, let us go with this. Ctrl+D to duplicate it. So for the US, we go all the way down to analysis. For the US, that is going to be for Canada rather. So we click on this. So now we duplicate this and move it to here. So now we get it for the US. The biggest one indeed. So we can just go ahead and replicate the same formatting for this and this. But this one right here doesn't really show up the way it should be. So this color is not really coherent. So I'm going to go to the top level and change the color to white. That actually, pops it out more. So can you see this right now? So we just have to make sure we get this copied and we move it to this part here. So double click it now. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to say top profit by customer country. Total profit. By customer country. So here we go. That is the header. We do not need to make it dynamic. It's actually cool the way it is. So that is exactly what it is that you should do. So now as you can see, it tells more story, just rather than actually leaving it the way it is. Nobody can tell what it is. So right now, if I hover over it, it's giving me the value. If I hover over this, it's giving me the value, 5.5. So here it's giving me my 1.2, and that is great. That is great. Awesome. So if I actually make sure I go to view and I select formula bar, so you can see we are almost at the front end of this dashboard, and it's looking way, way beautiful. You know,